Good evening. This meeting is called to order. At this time, I recognize Commissioner Hausman to lead us in the prayer.
Our Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for our country for 250 years of being together and being generally at peace with each other. We pray that you would give our country many more years of unity and peace around what's true and right. We pray that you would be with each aspect and each word that's spoken tonight, that'll be thoughtful and helpful, and pray that we will have wisdom beyond our experience to make the right decisions for the county and for the people of the county. And we ask your help for Christ's sake. Amen.
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 Thank you, Commissioner Hausman. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Fiani,
Here.
Commissioner Drick,
Here.
Commissioner Helserman,
Here.
Commissioner Domas,
Yes.
Commissioner Sample,
Here.
Commissioner Nakagiri,
Here.
Commissioner Deaton,
Here.
Commissioners Panovich and Gross are absent. A quorum is present.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved, Drick. Support Deaton.
Moved by Commissioner Drick and supported by Commissioner Deaton. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The agenda is approved. At this time, we have employee recognition. I'd like to invite up Miss Kate Kerbrat, Assistant Prosecutor. Well, thank you for coming this evening and congratulations on your prestigious award. The Livingston County Board of Commissioners congratulates Assistant Prosecutor Kate Kerbrat for being named the 2026 National Traffic Safety Prosecutor of the Year.
Amen.
Due to her excellence in prosecuting vehicular crash cases, working collaboratively with law enforcement for training and preparing cases for court, and strong support for victims of traffic crashes and their families, Ms. Kerbrat was nominated for the prestigious award by the Livingston County Prosecutor's Office, as well as the Traffic Division of the Prosecuting Attorneys Association of Michigan. Therefore, let it be known that the Livingston County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes and celebrates Kate Kerbrat for her well-deserved award. Thank you for making our roads safer and providing justice for those who have suffered unimaginable loss.
Thank you.
Congratulations. If you'd like, we're happy to have a picture with you.
I'm gonna take it.
This is a national award. I think you should have her talk a little bit more about it.
Would you like it? I have no picture.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so the young people, you just have to smile and then I just snap a lot of photos. So I'll just ask for that. Perfect, thank you.
Congratulations.
Anxious to hear your story.
30 minutes.
So
Started high school.
this was a national award, so obviously the prestige level is very high, and we truly are very proud of you and proud of our prosecutor's office, and we know it's a lot of long hours and a lot of strenuous work, and you have to endure a lot of things that a lot of people don't, and so we're very appreciative of that.
Thank you. I do want to express my thanks not only to the board for this recognition tonight. This is amazing and I really do appreciate it. I'm blown away still by all of this. I didn't enter into the career that I have for recognition. It's to serve the community and to help victims. And that's what we do in these cases. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. In a lot of these cases, you're dealing with people on their very worst day, about the worst thing that's ever happened to them in their lifetime. What we do in court does not bring justice, but it at least brings some healing to people. And so I work with an amazing team. I'm joined by some of them here today. I want to thank both Christina Riches, our chief assistant, as well as Carolyn Henry, our elected prosecutor, for all of the support that they've given me, along with all of the other APAs in our office. We have an amazing team here. Thank you.
I am going to make a special request. We do have an interesting FOIA appeal this evening. And so if you don't mind just hanging around for a little longer, thank you. The next item we have on the agenda is the correspondence. Is there a motion to receive and place on file correspondence 7A?
I motioned to receive resolution number 26-280 and then place on file.
Thank you.
I support that.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Domas. Any discussion?
Yes, I think this board would not support this resolution. I think we're for elections that can be verified. Citizenship is very important, and proving that shouldn't be an extra burden. Shouldn't be an undue burden. So I don't think this board would pass this resolution anyways. Okay, I don't think I'd vote for it, so.
With that being said, do you have an interest perhaps to make a motion to not accept or?
No, I think it should be on file, where I think that everybody's opinion has value, but it doesn't, because we accept it and put it on file, doesn't mean we agree with them. So I just want to make that point.
Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the resolution, receiving the resolution and placing it on file, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Next item we have on this evening's agenda is the call of the public. Anyone who wishes to address the board, please provide a card with your name and municipality, and you'll have 3 minutes to address the board.
Hannah Suds, Hamburg Township, followed by Steve Williams.
Hello, Commissioners, and happy Father's Day. Continuing from my last statement, I want to address Judge Susan Longsworth's bias and unequal treatment of parties. Previously, I discussed an order that required both my ex and me to obtain an appointment with a specific therapist within 5 days. The order applied to both of us. I called the therapist on day 3. My ex did not call until about day 9. Neither of us secured an appointment within 5 days. The difference being I made the effort while he did not, and that distinction matters because the law recognizes the difference between failing to comply due to circumstances beyond your control as opposed to failing to comply by simple choice. One is voluntary, the other is not, and we cannot be held responsible for outcomes we have no power to determine. Neither of us had the ability to force the therapist to give us an appointment. All we could do was ask within 5 days. I did, my ex did not. Longsworth punished me, and she rewarded him. She justified this by saying he was not capable. If he was truly incapable, why did she issue the order to begin with? The transcripts show where he was during 4 of those 5 days, and I ask that you review them and decide for yourselves, could he truly not make a phone call? Or did Longsworth show bias against me while simultaneously demonstrating favoritism for him, going as far as to concoct an excuse for him? In my experience, Longsworth's courtroom did not operate as a place of law, order, or justice. She treated it as her personal playground to severe consequence. It's dangerous for us to close our eyes and look away and pretend that we don't see what she's doing. Beyond sending me to jail, she ordered other punishments. One was sending my kids to an out-of-state camp that has faced lawsuits, allegations of child abuse, and bans in several states. You've heard of programs that send armed officers to forcibly drag children from their homes? Before Longsworth, I didn't believe such places existed anymore, but they do, and Judge Longsworth is an enthusiastic supporter. And that's what I'll talk about next time, what was about to happen to us and what Longsworth intended to happen to us if the state had not stepped in to stop her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Williams, Marion Township.
I think we'll be thoughtful and helpful.
Okay, sir. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Commissioner. And of course, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And I can only talk for 3 minutes, so I'm going to talk fast. You can look at those pictures, and I will tell you that they are the result of my stepson coming home at one point after a visit with his birth father and then talking about a major crash that he was in, right? Which my wife had no indication of. And some friends drove by the house in Roseville, and that's where all these pictures were taken. And you'll see that F-250, three-quarter, or not Dodge, it's a Dodge 2500, three-quarter ton. The bed had to be replaced, different panels had to be replaced, the grill had to be replaced. You see that the tool trailer has smashed, and even one of the wheels has been changed so they don't match. So now within our court system, as I've complained before, they're talking to the parents. It's supposed to be about the kids. Nobody talks to the kids. People say, oh, well, you know, they can make stories up. You can't believe children. But you know what? If it was a criminal case, then they'd be testifying. And yet Gavin, my stepson, tells us, oh, the police were there. The police gave me a critter out of a bag in his trunk, which is his code for stuffed toy. I never knew that police carry stuffed toys in the trunk of their car in case they have an episode with kids. Did you guys know that? Secondly, he said, yes, they took me to the hospital and they took pictures of my bones, meaning x-rays. We all know what x-rays are, but then he said that table was very cold. Are you gonna know how cold the x-ray table is unless you've laid on it? The third thing is, we're coming home one night. He says, oh, I have to pee. I have to go potty. And this kid has great bladder control. I wish I had that kind of control. He hasn't peed the bed since he was, wet the bed since he was 2 years old. We said, we're almost home. He said, well, but I really have to go. And we said, well, just hold it. We're almost home. He said, can't you put a tube in my penis and let me pee in the bowl like they did at the hospital? And you know why they do that? Because they're looking for blood in the urine. Now, I've been watching a lot of TV, not, over my lifespan, and I've seen movies, and I've been in a lot of science classes. I have never seen an actual depiction of a catheterization. So how is a little kid gonna know unless that happened? And how is my wife gonna know unless she's given those medical records she's entitled to, which she has been denied? And the birth father won't even say the city and state that the crash happened in. Oh, and by the way, Gavin was sitting on his lap. And if the airbag would have deployed, it would have killed him. So you wonder why I come in here. This is why I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No further cards.
Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to participate in the call of the public?
I do not see any, Commissioner.
Thank you. At this time, the first call of the public is closed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Work session minutes dated May 20th, 2026, meeting minutes dated May 26th, 2026, meeting minutes dated June 8th, 2026, and closed session minutes dated June 8th, 2026.
I motion to approve Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta minutes.
Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Domas. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes are approved. We do not have any tabled items this evening. Next item on the agenda is reports. We are grateful to have several members here from the Howell Senior Survivor fundraiser, which benefited the Livingston County Animal Shelter. Thank you very much for attending. I welcome you up. You're welcome to take a seat and share all the exciting news you have for us. And again, we're very grateful for all your work and the money you raised.
Thank you. I'll start it out and then they're going to talk as well. My name is Teresa Markham. I have lived and worked in Howell since 2001. I'm the lead counselor at Howell High School, and I've been a volunteer at the Livingston County Animal Shelter for just over 5 years. I was in a position where I could use my volunteer role and my work role to help the shelter become the recipient for Howell High School's Senior Survivor fundraiser. And I am very excited and very honored to let you all know what the amount was. We have the check here that was presented. Let's flip it around. If you have a drum roll here, we had $287,235.17. And actually, that amount isn't even accurate because once that check was printed, more money came in. We're actually at over $291,000.
Nice.
So that's amazing. Whether you're an animal lover or not, the need for animal care is there. And the strays, the injured, the animals that are left in evictions, etc. The space that we currently have, it's small. It's not adequate for all the needs that are there. The senior survivor money would best be used for diagnostic equipment, to help improve and secure our outdoor area, and to help create a wing that could be a little quieter for the dogs and the cats who are so stressed out. The community loves the shelter. This is evidenced by what we just saw here. Okay. Senior Survivor does have a pretty big hype throughout the years. We all know that. If you live in this community, you've heard about Senior Survivor, but you don't raise that kind of money for an organization that's meaningless. You just don't. And like the show Survivor says, the tribe has spoken. In our case, the community has spoken. And with that, I'd like to call up some of these guys who have worked so hard to put those numbers on that board. We have Preston.
Good morning, board. My name is Preston Barb, and this year I participated in Senior Survivor as a member of the team Barbed and Dangerous, where our community raised nearly $300,000 for the Livingston County Animal Shelter. What stood out to me the most was how much our community truly cares about the shelter. Sometimes I think there's a big misconception that supporting an animal shelter takes attention away from humanitarian causes. In reality, helping the shelter benefits far more than just the animals. It benefits the families who adopt them, the children who grew up loving them, and the community that values giving animals a safe place to be cared for. After visiting the shelter and learning more about its mission, I saw firsthand how hard the staff works every day to keep these animals safe. It also became clear that they are accomplishing incredible things and doing incredible work despite the limited space and resources that they have. The overwhelming support shown throughout Senior Survivor proves that this shelter matters deeply to the people of Livingston County. My hope is that as it continues to receive the support it needs, it can continue to receive the support it needs so that it can serve both animals and families in our community for many years to come. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kennedy Wolf. I was Team Just Ken in Senior Survivor. Before Senior Survivor, I didn't know much about the animal shelter, and I got to watch all the charities we were considering for Senior Survivor present their presentations on why we should choose them. And after hearing the Livingston County Animal Shelter's presentation, I thought they were the best option for this year's charity. And basically the whole district agreed because the animal shelter was chosen by everyone's votes. This felt so powerful because it gave us survivors a chance to give a voice to all the animals at the shelter. While raising money for Senior Survivor, all the businesses and friends I asked for money were happy to donate, and they all considered it a great cause. One thing that showed me how much the shelter means to people is when I did a puppy yoga fundraiser. It was such a fun event filled with so much joy and laughter. The puppies made everyone so happy. There were over 200 people who signed up, and they each paid $30 just to support the shelter. One puppy even got adopted because of the event. This showed me how much happiness the shelter brings to people and how important it is in our community. So if the shelter has more support, there will be so much more happiness spread throughout our county.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mackenzie Duthie, and I'm a recent Howell High School graduate and the 2026 Senior Survivor runner-up. I strongly believe I represent the greater Livingston County area tonight as I share my sentiment and experience related to the Livingston County Animal Shelter. For the past decade, my family has been closely involved with the shelter and their donation drives and rescue efforts. We have rescued 4 dogs from the shelter during this time. While I knew what this meant to our family, I did not truly understand how much they meant to the entire community until I began requesting donations during my Senior Survivor campaign. People were excited that the shelter had finally been chosen and were enthusiastic to help us reach our goals. I was able to raise over $52,000 during my campaign, and I believe this number was only possible because the recipient was so deserving. Our record-breaking numbers are proof positive of the importance of the shelter. The small, overcrowded building and just 18 kennels do not afford the shelter the space they need to care for the many abandoned and injured animals delivered to them on a daily basis. 15 seniors did not raise almost $300,000 over 6 weeks by accident. I believe the community has overwhelmingly spoken on the importance of the shelter's ability to become an even better place for many years to come. I truly appreciate the time you have given me tonight, and thank you for listening.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm Jeffrey Stimson. I was Team Jeff of all trades and this year's Senior Survivor. And on a personal level, the animal shelter has always been important to me. My mom's a vet, so we've kind of been around animals in that way all the time. But I really didn't understand the mission of the animal shelter until I was a Senior Survivor and I saw how the community all came together. It was the most united I've seen this community, like a personal level in a long time. Just everybody wanting to give money to the animal shelter, but also knowing, even if it was through a fun event, the money was going to such an important cause. Seeing the animals, like we have all the puppies and kittens named after the Survivor team, seeing them in the shelter and seeing hopefully the improvements in the future gives me a lot of hope for the animal shelter. And just in general, I think everything we raise, we raised it for a reason, and we picked this charity for a reason. And I'm just eternally grateful I was able to do this and that we were able to raise money for the animal shelter. I would like to thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
Mr. Chair, would you be okay if the kids all got in front of us? I see their parents taking pictures of the back of their heads, but it'd be nice to have that check meeting. You get a picture, it'll be okay with you?
No, I think that's a great idea.
You guys okay with that?
Yes.
Come on up and get in front of the dais here with your check and.
Thank you.
Okay. Was there anybody else who was going to speak? Were you going to speak? No. Okay. So, I think as commissioners, we could probably.
You want to be in this or? Oh,
Sure.
okay.
You guys can get in there.
You sure? Okay.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna go out and adopt a dog.
Two. This you gotta pay for a friend. I think so.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this, you guys.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job.
Was there anyone else who was going to speak?
Oh yeah, I found out, sorry, because I had no idea what they were gonna say. You guys are amazing. Oh, I did have to write it down because I knew they were gonna make me emotional. So the life-changing donation, it's not just a number on the check, like, just so you guys know that, it's a lifeline for us. It is, kind of as these guys said, I had no idea what they're gonna say tonight. They're amazing, aren't they? All 15 of them. It's expanding shelter capacity. The condos that we've already ordered new kitten condos for our kittens. It's kind of making the quiet areas Teresa had spoke of. She sees it. Everybody's stressing in the dog room. It's loud right now. We have senior dogs who are stressed out. We have court cases who've been there for 3 months. I don't know when they're leaving. It could be 8 months before they leave. They're just stuck there. They cannot go anywhere. The play yard we want to expand. It's advanced medical diagnostics. We spend about $8,000 to $9,000 a year doing x-rays, ultrasounds. We want to get our own machines. It just makes sense in the long run. We don't have space to get those things. I just had a gentleman come in to go over equipment with me, measurements. And he said, Christy, where are we putting these things? You have the funds now, but where are we putting them? That's another issue I have to look at now, is fantastic, we can do it. We have the means. It's kind of, you know, as I always say, you have the time or you have the money. We don't have the money, we don't have the space. Community outreach programs, our low-cost baby donor clinics, free microchip and vaccine clinics, we're already scheduling those out. So the community can come to us, get free vaccines, free microchips. That's making a healthier community. We're going to be able to get pets home. All that's going to be free for the community here in the near future. One thing I was hoping to present tonight, we're not just finished yet. If anybody's been to the shelter recently, out front, we have a new universal microchip scanner. Anyone can come 24/7 after hours. They can scan a pet they have found. So you can find a dog, you can come at 2:00 in the morning, scan that pet. Instructions are up there on who to contact, get the pet's owner information, return the pet home. If there is no owner information, it's how to contact 911, have a deputy bring the animal into the building. So you're not holding on to that animal. That is through Senior Survivor funds. That is going to be helping the community. If anybody's on Facebook, you watch mom to mom sites, people are always saying, where do I take this pet? How do I get it scanned? What do I do? That is going to be available 24/7 for the community to get pets home. Education and engagement, funds are going to help us do those things. We are always getting into schools. We're trying to help students learn. The younger they are, the better it is for us in the long run. We have ordered 500 coloring books that we're going to try to get into kindergarten and things when school starts back up. It's going to teach them how to introduce themselves to pets. We had a young gentleman as school was ending who rode up on his bike. He was probably 12 years old, rode up to the shelter on his bike with a baby raccoon in his backpack his mom told us to bring to us. Not great. So we need to get some educational material out there. These funds will allow us to do that. Why this all matters for the whole community. When we save animals, we strengthen our community. Healthy, cared for pets mean fewer strays on the streets, fewer public health risk, and many more families experiencing unconditional love of a companion animal. Our shelter becomes not just a place for rescue, but a hub of kindness and connection and hope. This donation will ripple outward, helping not only animals who walk through our door, but also people whose lives they've touched. To our survivors who made this possible, your generosity is more than a gift. It is a statement of your belief. You believe that every life matters. You believe that compassion can change the world, and you have given us the tools to prove it. While this donation is a monumental step forward, as the journey continues, we invite everyone to be a part of this transformation, whether by being a volunteer, a foster, or adopting, simply sharing our mission. Together, we can ensure that no animal is left behind and no act of kindness goes unnoticed. One day, I hope that we will look back and say, this was the moment everything changed. And I truly think you guys will look back 5 years, 10 years, and you're going to see this ripple effect. It's going to continue. Teresa, again, there's nothing I can do to ever say thank you enough. We wrote this letter 2 years in a row. We were not chosen. Teresa texted me and said, Christy, can we go one more year? I want to write one more year. And I'd given up. My plate was full. I was exhausted. And I said, Teresa, go ahead. Thank God she did. Teresa wrote the letter this year and we were chosen. I had given up. So everyone, please, a round of applause for Teresa. This is a beacon of hope for us and the animals alike, and it all began with one life-changing gift, these seniors. So that is, again, forever thankful for all 15 of you. You guys are amazing. You blew my mind. You're all wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the time tonight, gentlemen. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. I assume that the receiving the money is all taken care of, that we don't have to take any action
We do
for
that.
them to receive it. We have a donation receiving system.
The donation line's already been set up. Those funds are allocated for. Jenny Nash has got us good to go. But yes, we are having another puppy yoga class that I hope you're all at.
Well, when is it? When is it?
It'll be coming up in about a month and a half. We're gonna try and get everybody midsummer, when everybody's a little bored, looking for something to do with the kids.
So everybody heard that, puppy yoga midsummer.
It'll be on our Facebook page. Yeah. But yeah, Kennedy, she posted the first one, sold out so quick that she was like, hey, can I do a second one? And it sold out too. So it's an easy fundraiser to do. We've been asked to do multiples of them now. People want kitten yoga. We'll continue to do it. It brings money in for a donation line that covers medical expenses. So we'll keep it going.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's my honor at this point to present on behalf of the Board of Commissioners this recognition to seniors who have just done a remarkable remarkable job of raising these funds, which we are just beyond grateful for. And certainly, we know the animal shelter is grateful for them as well. So thank you for all your work. You should be very proud and very honored, and I commend you greatly. Whoever would like to, on behalf.
Preston.
That concludes the report from the Senior Survivor Fundraiser. As exciting as these board meetings are, if you do wish to make your way out, you're welcome to at this time. Thank you.
Thanks again, you guys.
The next item we have on the agenda is the 2025 Livingston County Financial Audit, followed by the FOIA appeal. I believe our auditors will be joining us via virtually. You may go ahead and.
Hello, can you guys hear us? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, my name is Amr El-Askari. I'm the signer on the audit. I also have Cody Mitchell, the audit manager. And we started our contract with the county back in late February, early March. So this is our first year here concluding the audit and submitting to the state before the 6:30 deadline. So the audit is deadline for 6:30, and this is covering the period January 1st to December 31st, 2025. So we'll share a little bit information to you if you go to the next slide. All right, so we would issue 3 audit reports for the county. The first one is specifically over the financial statement, and that was unmodified opinion, which is the highest opinion you can get, known as clean opinion as well. The second audit report is the government auditing standards, and that is a little bit of focus on your ability as a governmental entity handling money and your internal control process on safeguarding the money and making sure that it wouldn't be used for waste or abuse or corruption or any of these sorts of things. And that was also clean opinion. We had no material findings in it or any other findings or non-compliance that needed to be communicated. So that's a very strong results in both reports. The third report is the uniform grant guidance. That is a specific audit on federal grants, federal money, any federal awards given to you by federal government. When it hits over $1 million, we have to go and audit these grants, and they have a very strong and detailed process on how we test and how we selected this money, and we completed that. To give you a little bit information about your federal grants, last year you had 21 million in 21.5, so almost 22 million in federal grants. 13 million of those were COVID-related money, which was one-time grant from the federal government. Was spent. I mean, there was more COVID money in previous years. Just in last year alone, you spent 13 million out of that 22 million. This year, you had 11 million in federal grants. So if you exclude the COVID money, your grants across the board and all the different programs you are running have increased the funding from the federal government, which is very good, and it shows that you're utilizing this money well, especially in this current environment where the federal grant is been cutting across the board in many different directions of grants. If you show that you're not utilizing the money well, you would have experienced some losses. So that's a very good result there, that the federal government still passing to you more money than before. This year, we tested specifically 3 grants, what we would call them in our world major program. The first one is the airport improvement grant, which a lot of that money, that total of the grant was 1.6 million. A big chunk of it was used for snow removal equipment and preparing the airport from infrastructure and investments. Another grant was the federal transit program that was 4 million. That's by far your largest federal grant, which related to your busing system and transportation. The last and third grant that we audited was the child support services, which was 2.3 million. Those are the largest 3 grants you had this year. We're not necessarily going to test them next year. There is a checklist that we have to follow based on the federal government guidelines, and it forces us to circle through the different grants from time to time. But usually those bigger ones come more often than others because they are considered the higher risk. So that's kind of the summary of the audit reports and the audit results. We'll move into the next part with Cody on a little bit more financial trends and more information. Actually, sorry, Cody mentioned one more slide that reminded me of that. There is one more communication letter that we provide to you. Typically, that would have language about if there are issues that was not large enough to be communicated in the report, but would be communicated to you. But this year, there was none of this. There was really no issues at all throughout the audit. So that letter is pretty much the standard letter from the audit world, and there's really nothing specific that you would need to bring to your attention. The one thing we implemented new GASB standard 102, but it was very small and very narrow in scope that had no impact on your financials. So nothing there for you to be concerned about on that. But next year there will be a bigger accounting standards from GASB that we'll have to implement, and it will change a little bit on the face of the financials and how your financial statements are presented. Mainly just to clean up, certain tables go to the back and certain tables move to the front, just to clean up like that. But before we go into the financial numbers with Cody, anyone have any questions on the audit results so far or the reports that we issued?
Any questions? No questions at this time.
All right, we'll move into the next part.
All right, so yep, if you want to switch the slides. So on this first slide, what we're going to be looking at is the change in assets deferred outflows. This one compares prior year to current year. So on this slide, I really just wanted to highlight what you'll see, the largest amount on the slide, as well as the largest change on this slide is capital assets. So this is showing that the county continues to improve and invest in their infrastructure, vehicles, buildings, things like that are going to be used over time. So really one of the larger projects that I can point to in this is the 911 tower project. So that's mixed in there. Some of the things that Amr mentioned at the airport, that all attributes to this increasing number for the capital assets. So that's really driving the increase in total assets and deferred outflows. So on the next slide, we're going to look at the change in liabilities and deferred inflows. So really on here, you'll see total liabilities, deferred inflows increased by 7.5 million. The majority of that, excuse me, is coming from long-term obligations. So that's 6.5 million change right there, increasing. Really what that's mostly due to is there was the 2025 sewage disposal bonds that were issued. So that's really what's kind of ticking that number up. So you'll see that that's really the main reason why you're increasing your liabilities, with the assets on the previous slide increasing more than the liabilities on this slide. So on the next slide, now we're going to kind of break out into more of a 5-year look back just to give you an idea of how things have been changing year over year. With this being our first year under the audit, we're mainly focused on the 24 to 25. We just like to present this just to give you an idea of how things are fluctuating. So this is the net position at year end of your governmental activities. And what this is really showing, you'll see that there's been increases and then it's kind of flattening out this year. Really what this represents is the spend down, the wind down of your ARPA, American Rescue Plan, or COVID funding dollars. So those have been, pushed out the last few years. The county's been spending it. As Amr said, this year is the kind of the first year where you're not seeing that additional funding. So it's really just kind of showing that, this spending is kind of done for. And really, the asset liability increases and decreases, they kind of netted to a slight change, but nothing major. On the next slide, we break out the net position at year end of these same governmental activities between the three different buckets. So you'll see your net investment in capital assets that I previously discussed is your largest bucket. So that's going to be all your capital assets, all those vehicles, all those buildings, netted with any related debt and any depreciation or the usage of those assets over time. So you'll see here that, this is the largest line item for the county, shows a strong investment within those capital assets, not letting them deteriorate without replacing them or improving them. The next bucket is your restricted. This is the smallest one. This is what's going to be restricted by outside parties. And then your third bucket is unrestricted. So it's things that don't fall into the first two buckets. Within unrestricted, there could be things that might be assigned or committed by the board, but it doesn't have those outside restrictions and it's not tied up into capital assets. And what you'll see is that all three of these are above zero. So you have strong unrestricted, strong net investment in capital assets. And on the next slide, it's pretty much the same presentation. We like to present this just to kind of pull off some of those really large net pension and OPEB liabilities. So these are, these aren't things that are really operating through the county's day-to-day operations. These are long-term liabilities that are going to look out into the futures and take estimates and actuarial valuations. So we like to kind of present this to kind of give you this idea of, once you kind of strip some of those things away, the position is even closer to the, it kind of creeps close to that net investment in capital assets. So we just like to give you an idea of what that looks like. On the next slide. So now we're going to switch over to the net position at year end of your business type fund. So this is your self-sustaining type funds, the transportation, bus services, the airport, things like that. So you'll see that this has also experienced increases over the last few years. Really, the main attribute for 24 to 25 is going to be additional capital grants related to the airport projects, some additional grants for your busing system. So that's what's really ticking that up from 24 to 25. On the next slide, you'll see, once again, we're presenting in the various buckets. Where on this one, you'll see the unrestricted is actually higher than net investment in capital assets. So this is showing the strong unrestricted balance in your net position for these business type funds. And this is really what you want to see, since these are self-sustaining type funds. You want to see this healthy unrestricted balance. So these business type funds are in a good position at year end. On the next slide. So switching back to the governmental activities, this gives you an idea of the revenues in the orange and the expenses in the blue, how it's operating year over year. You'll see 24 to 25, the expenses are pretty much in line with each other. You will see a decrease in revenues from 24 to 25. This isn't, and it's not anything on your daily operations. This is that ARPA wind down. Also last year, there was some additional funds for fiber optic construction that were received. So ARPA kind of winding down, and that funding last year that's not present in this current year is going to be what's driving your revenue down from the high last year to more in line with a few years ago. Excuse me. On the next slide, we're going to look at the same thing except for your business type activities. So once again, revenues in the orange, expenses in the blue. So you will see on this, the blue has increased from 24 to 25. There were some additional rising costs with the busing system, which was also met by additional grant funding to for the bus system. That's kind of the only business type fund where it is subsidized by grants. So rising costs led to rising grant income, but also, as we mentioned, the airport improvement, that was some additional funding this year that didn't have quite as much funding in the prior year. So that's really what's kind of driving up your revenues from one year to the next as well. On the next slide, you'll see that now we're going to hone down into the general fund, which is the main fund of the county. And once again, 5-year look back, the revenue is in the orange, expenditures are in the gray. Really what you'll see is that the revenues are on a pretty steady trajectory upward. Really what this can be attributed to is this is the growth in your property tax. So this growth in the property tax base. So as you know, as that increases, you'll see your revenue also increasing. Which actually leads me into the next slide. So this is actually just focused down on your property tax revenue for all the governmental funds. So this is the largest revenue source for the county, and single source for the county. And what you'll see is pretty in line with the prior slide is that this revenue line is ticking up. This is what you would expect as your property tax base increases, as long as your millage doesn't, change too much. You're going to see this steady increase, nothing too large, but definitely a steady increase. On the next slide. So this looks at general fund balance year end. So what you'll see is this actually ticked down a little bit. Really what this is attributable to, this is actually deliberate. So this was, additional transfers out, especially for that 911 project. So, a few slides ago, revenues exceeded expenditures. And then there was additional funding that was transferred out that ticked this down just a small amount. On the next slide. So this kind of gives you an idea of the fund balance for the general fund. So what you'll see is, overall, it's relatively consistent, 70 to 80% range year over year. So this is a very healthy general fund balance when you look at it in total. The change from year to year, relatively small. You're looking at about 9 to 10 months of fund balance if you divide it by the fund revenues. And then on the final slide of information, we just want to give you an idea of operating incomes for all of your different enterprise funds. So this is going to list out every single one of those self-sustaining business type funds. And what you'll see is that the vast majority of them are hovering around that break-even point. So this is just, are their revenues, operating revenues, meeting their operating expenses? So, almost every single one right around the break-even point. Other than the busing system, which I previously mentioned, the design of these systems is that the fares are not, they're not going to support all of the operating expenses. So this is the one where this is mostly grant funded for the operations. So that's why the operating income is, down there at the bottom. But once you factor in the rest of the revenues, it's pretty in line with the rest of them. There was a $387,000 loss. So, it's right up there in the mix with the rest of them. And that is all of the informational slides that we had.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments among the board? Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yeah, I'd be interested in either gentleman commenting on the airport, the running in the negative for the last 4 or 5 years, just slightly negative. Any thoughts, any concerns on that?
I mean, from an operation standpoint, on operating the airport, I feel like that probably would be a question to the operation team. But from financial standpoint, there is no issues on how they are using the funds. We didn't find any abuse or wastage in there that came to our attention.
Thank you.
Commissioner Deaton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if this audit would cover that or not, but were there any actions that came out of duties from the treasurer's office with the administration office that we've talked about in the past? Nothing would come up within this audit? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time and effort on this item.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Next item on the agenda this evening is the FOIA appeal. Is Mrs. Holly Fletcher present this evening? Yes, okay. Please come up here. You may have a seat at the table here. I want to thank our members of the prosecutor's office for staying. I appreciate your patience. Thank you. So this evening, we have your appeal before us regarding a FOIA request you have made. The board members have received all the documentation pertaining to it. So what we will do is I will provide you with 10 minutes to present anything you wish to present. We do have your paperwork, your requests, and so forth. You're welcome to, express any details you wish and explain anything you'd like.
I allowed to say names or no names?
You are allowed to say names, yes.
Okay.
But-
I've never done this and I'm super nervous, so.
Okay.
You'll
And I'll keep
bear with
track
me.
of the 10 minutes and give you a heads up when it's winding down. After that, we're gonna provide, I believe our legal counsel is the representative of, and they're on Zoom. So they will have him and our under sheriff as well. So he will then, I'll welcome you to return to the chair and
Okay.
allow our under sheriff up to present his side. And then following his presentation, you'll have 5 minutes to provide any closing thoughts. And then after that, the board members will have an opportunity to ask questions or share thoughts of their own.
Okay.
So,
All right, I'll start off. My name's Holly Fletcher. I'm local in the community. I have a 5-year-old niece who for the last 2.5 years has been sexually, physically, and mentally abused by the mom's boyfriend, whose name is Tony Hildebridal. He has been in and out of jail. He's been in Livingston County Jail, and he's been in and out of jail for the last, well, his whole life. If you look him up, you'll see. He does not have custody of his own kids because of abuse. And his sister, who is also living in the house with the mom, her name is Rachel. Her sister's living in, and her sister also does not have any custody of her children because she denied getting help for sexual abuse, which is in the CPS reports of her own children. So she got her own children taken away from her for physical and sexual abuse of her own children. And she is the one that Oakland County put in charge to watch Alice, which is my niece. Her full name is Alicia. Put in charge to watch Alicia when Rachel is at work, which is the mom. Tony just got back out of jail. He was in Livingston County. Then he got out of Livingston County. They took him to Oakland County, got out of Oakland County, put him back in Livingston County. During that time when he was away, Alicia, she started wetting her bed when this all started. When he was away, she quit wetting her bed. Then she started wetting her bed again, and she told us she talked to Tony. So it is court ordered that Tony isn't allowed to have any contact with Alicia. But Alicia says that he comes in, he sneaks in her bedroom at night, that she comes in at night. Just recently, when he got out of jail, she stated that Tony was at the house, which they specified with our lawyer, that Tony was at the house in the morning when she woke up, he was there. And she said that he was driving by and he had to poop. So he had to stop by the house because he almost pooped his pants. And it was so stinky in there, and it was a big laughing game that he stopped by the house, and that's why he was there when he got caught there. The sister is now that Tony's out of jail, the sister is now living back in the house. And now that she's not going to school, like she would tell the school when she would see things, CPS would get called from the school. And now that she's not in the school, there's no one for her to go to for help. Livingston County has been amazing. Unfortunately, they live in Oakland County and everything happens in Oakland County. So we can't, anything that, like Livingston County CPS and Oakland County CPS, they don't talk, they don't share their information is what I was told. we did have the Livingston County, the girl who was involved when there was the sexual abuse going on, which was about a year ago. She did testify in court, but, for some reason, they keep sweeping it under the rug because we have no physical proof that abuse is happening. We did take, a year ago, we took her to U of M hospital because she would not pee and it burned and she would cry and we walked her into the bathroom. She ended up peeing all over herself because she couldn't hold it anymore. And she said that he stuck his finger in her butt in her hoo-ha. And we took her to U of M. And the results that came back, they did every kind of test on her. I was there through the whole thing, the sexual part and the x-rays. The only thing they found was that there was irritation, but it wasn't from any reason that it should have been irritated from. She didn't have a UTI, she didn't have a bladder infection, but it was red and it was irritated. And the doctor said, unfortunately, when something like this happens, they have to go like the day of for them to find proof that somebody actually physically stuck something in her. And so there's no physical proof that that's what's going on with her. Just recently, she came over to the house, and she had a big bruise on the inside of her arm. And I said, Alice, what happened? And first she shrugged her shoulders at me like she didn't know. And then I said, oh, that must have hurt really bad. That's a big bruise. And then she told me that Tony ripped her off her mom's bed because he didn't want her in the bedroom with them. And this is Tony's that's not supposed to be at the house at all. And for some reason, since I don't have physical proof of that, they don't even want me to make a CPS. Oakland County doesn't want me to even make a CPS report on it. So I'm like, in this, what do I do? So I'm drawing for straws that if maybe I can see the phone. If I can get the phone records that say that she talked to Tony. Or if I can get the phone records to say that she was on the phone, my Tony was on the phone, then maybe I can use that as evidence because that would be physical evidence. We can't catch him out at the house. He's too sneaky. So, and CPS has gone to the house and they just made Alice come to the door, but Rachel would not let her in the house and the sister was there. And in the report, it states that they were threatened for their life. So that's why they left. They felt threatened for their life, but Alice was good. She wasn't hurt or anything, and they got to talk to her. So there's no way of us to find physical proof when CPS can't even get in there to see if he's at the house. And he did get caught in the house last winter. And she said, because he was outside when CPS showed up, and Rachel, the mom, said that, thank you, said that he was living in a shed in the middle of winter with a space heater. And the court just took it. They just slapped her on the wrist and said, he's not allowed on that property. And she played dumb like, oh, it's living outside. But if you saw this shed, there is no way anybody lived in this little tin shed in the middle of winter. But again, they slapped her on the wrists and put her away. So we're just trying to get this kid out of this harmful situation and pulling for straws of a way to do it. That's it.
Thank you. I'm going to ask if you don't mind to take a step back and you're welcome to have a seat right there in the first row. Yes. I'm going to invite Under Sheriff Plus up if you wish. Under Sheriff Plus, you're representing the county side of the FOIA appeal. So you'll have 10 minutes to present anything you wish.
Hey, good evening, Commissioners, and thanks for giving us an opportunity here tonight to discuss this specific FOIA request. My understanding is the FOIA request, and I've reviewed it, is specifically for jail records involving a potential conversation between a juvenile and one of our inmates. Historically, we do not release jail phone calls, nor have we ever released jail phone calls for really any reason other than a criminal investigation or if there is a court order. So that's been our stance for a long time. I know that it may be foreign to some, but inmates are still allowed private communications within our facility under the Fourth Amendment, obviously, although there are some other rights that are reduced when they're in our custody, that right remains. Again, without a court order or without a criminal investigation tied to it, we would not release jail phone calls to the general public. And specifically this case, in considering what we would release, if there was a conversation with a juvenile, they still wouldn't get it. It would be blacked out if we could identify that that was in fact a juvenile that this individual had talked to someone, to a member of the public. From the sheriff's office perspective, if we were to start releasing jail phone calls as a matter of practice, it kind of opens Pandora's box. We'd be looking at, they're not only videos, because there are video phone calls now, tablets in the jail, and monitoring these calls. Again, with any criminal investigation, bond violation, or, a court order, we would be all over providing that information to the courts for criminal prosecution, civil violation instances, no problem. But again, releasing them to the general public is not our practice.
Thank you. I'm gonna ask if you may take a step back.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna invite Mrs. Fletcher up again. You'll have 5 minutes to provide any closing remarks, and then the board will have an opportunity to ask questions, both of you and Under Sheriff Plus as well.
Because I put the report to the FOIA, the first one, and they told me what he just told me, that they would not be able to release the reports to the public. But then she told me to refile for another one and ask if I could get on the weekends the time and dates of the phone calls to Rachel Nevis, to her phone number. So I did that, and I also asked for if there was somebody who could listen to the record and just verify. I don't need to know what he said or to anything. I just want to verify that Alicia spoke, because she told us he did, but I don't know if it was in Oakland County, Livingston County, but she said she saw him on TV and she talked to him. And I just wanted to see if anyone could confirm that she spoke to him, whether it was on the phone or on a video chat. That's all I'm asking for. I don't need to know anything about the conversations. I don't want to know about the conversations. I just want to verify if Alicia was able to talk to him or not. So I can go to the court and say, yes, on this day, Alicia did talk on the phone to Tony. So he violated Rachel violated her duties of letting him have contact with him. So that's it.
Thank you. Under Sheriff Plus, you're Mrs. Fletcher. You're welcome to stay. And
Stay here?
I'm gonna invite Under Sheriff Plus back up. You're welcome. Obviously, this is not the ideal.
It's okay. I don't mind him sitting next to me.
So I do have a sequence of questions pertaining to this matter. If there's no objection from fellow board members, do you mind if I begin with a couple questions? So initially, Mrs. Fletcher, are you able to confirm that there is in fact, or was in fact, a no contact?
Yes, I sent that with the FOIA report.
Okay. And I take it that's probably still in effect as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if the board were to approve the appeal, meaning we approve the release of the records to you, I anticipate it actually is going to be quite expensive, probably north of $1,000.
If I can prove that this girl has contact with him, I will pay $1,000.
And the reason for that is because I anticipate it'll be quite a cumbersome task to review the phone records and the the conversations.
Well, I do know about the times. It would be every fifth weekend. I know when she had them. So I know the dates where she could have talked to him,
Okay.
or during the weekdays. I know what weekdays she has them. So
Now, under Sheriff Plus, it's my understanding, I spoke at length to Prosecutor Carolyn Henry, and I'm very appreciative of the time she spent helping me connect some dots. It's my understanding that although these specific types of phone records are not required to be released under a FOIA request, there is an acknowledgement and consent given by the inmates that the records are not, they should not anticipate privacy. They should not anticipate, basically they should not anticipate privacy in that regard. I guess, do you share a similar understanding? Unless, of course, it's protected through client-attorney privilege.
Attorney-client.
But outside of that, it was my understanding that even the prosecutor's office could solicit such records in order to, I'll say, bolster their case in general.
As part of a criminal complaint or a prosecution, yes, of course, they could request those records. Just thinking through this and not being familiar with the fine details of Mr. Hildebridal's current bond conditions or court orders, I haven't reviewed those. I would say even if they were released to her, they may not be able to be court record, right? We would maybe become aware of them, but she couldn't provide them necessarily to the court and have them admitted because they'd be coming from a third party. So I'm not certain if she's explored filing a complaint with the court, retaining an attorney, and having them attempt to let the court know that this violation has occurred and then initiate an investigation, make the request, and keep those records, internally. Of course, we would assist with that.
Mrs. Fletcher, the violation that you are seeking to confirm through this potential evidence, would it be for a case here? I know you said it's between Oakland and.
it's in Oakland County.
So you need the records for Oakland County case.
Wherever she spoke on the phone, but yes.
So I'm going to inquire with our prosecutor's office if all of you or if one of you don't mind, perhaps stepping forward. You're actually welcome to grab that microphone and right here, the microphone right here.
Commissioner, would Mr. Norford also be able to give an opinion on this if they already
Yeah,
spoke to this?
I don't know how much I can comment, not necessarily being a party.
I understand. I was going to ask specifically if there was something pertaining to these records that would address a case in Oakland County. Would the Livingston County Prosecutor's Office have any a capability of facilitating that?
If there's an open case in Oakland County, we frequently work in partnership with other prosecutors' offices across the state. I don't see why that would be an issue in this matter.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you. Mr. Norford, is there something you wish to share, or was there something?
I think you're getting very close to the direction here, Chair. I just wanted to mention that it would be a criminal or civil subpoena, likely, is what the sheriff's office would be looking for here in order to be able to produce these records. They're in a tough spot. They're balancing constitutional law, privacy interests. From our perspective as attorneys, we cannot make our decisions as far as legal advice is concerned based on the nature of the request or the requester or the person's records that are being requested. So everything that I've heard so far has been accurate. I understand the fact situation here is a difficult one to address. We apply these standards consistently and similarly, and I hope that the requester can find some redress through a different mechanism, which would be through that civil or criminal process.
And Mr. Norford, Under Sheriff Pless had noted earlier that if the phone conversation did in fact take place, because it was with a minor, it would actually be redacted if provided to the FOIA requester here.
So there are statutory requirements as it relates to criminal conduct and disclosing that information of a minor. I can't say specifically in this case because I don't know what it would be, but we would have to review all of these for exemptions and redaction, both under FOIA and state law.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, Under Sheriff Pless, do you see what I'll say efficient or effective way we can resolve this and proceed forward?
I would be hopeful that if there's an ability to, again, get someone from Oakland County to contact our agency, whether it's criminally or civilly, then we would definitely cooperate with that entity, whatever it may be. And again, not knowing the specifics of the current status of, the party she mentioned, I don't know if there is a bond or a no contact order. I haven't explored that case, this specific case that deeply yet. Yeah.
I have a question. Is there any way for somebody, I don't need to look at it. Is there any way for somebody to look at it and just confirm, yes, Tony had contact with this minor? I don't even need to see the record. I could care less about the record, but she states that she talked to him. So is there any way that somebody legally could look at these records and say, yes, he was on the phone with Alicia?
So I'll leave that up to Under Sheriff Pless in our prosecutor's office. Are you able to speak to that?
What about Mr. Norford?
Yeah.
If he, like, you mean if he's able to review it or if he?
What's his opinion?
Yeah.
Because a question that rolls through my mind is, it's a different question. It's a different, I believe it's a different request. If you're saying, I'm FOIA-ing for the totality of the conversation versus I'm FOIA-ing for if a conversation occurred. I'm curious on the legal differences there, if there's any.
So I'll leave that for you, Mr. Norford.
There is. I mean, we have to weigh the privacy interests. If we're going to be simply looking for, did a phone call occur to a phone number on a date and time, that's very different than the content of the call.
Would I be off base in thinking that, that could be pretty expensive for the lady?
The requestee.
The requestee, because you'd have to have somebody listen to that, somebody from law enforcement. I'm thinking, I guess I should just ask the question, how would that unfold?
Well, likely our office would be involved as a legal review of what would need to be exempted due to state law and FOIA. Back to the original question, though, really what we would need when I'm representing the sheriff's office in this situation is someone directing us to do the investigation, and that would be through the subpoena process. So there is a distinct and correct legal process to do this. FOIA is just not that process, in my opinion, if we're trying to get to the content of the calls.
So the board here this evening obviously has the responsibility of hearing this appeal, but we also do carry the responsibility of serving the citizens, serving the community, doing what's in the best interest of all. With that being said, I understand that the FOIA appeals, Clerk Hundley, please assist me on this. I understand that between the FOIAs and the FOIA appeals, there are certain timelines that have to be met to abide by the legal guidelines.
There is, and I would imagine legal counsel could address those timeframes with you.
Oh, thank you. So, Mr. Norford, right now, I, as one commissioner, am inclined to, I guess, evaluate the possibility of some type of adjournment of the request or postponement of the request, only so that we can explore what I consider or think of as a more efficient or effective or direct avenue to essentially bring justice if what has been presented is accurate this evening.
So the hearing requirements are timeline based for the FOIA hearing. The party, the requester, can stipulate to an extension. The board can also request an extension like you're describing, Chair. I just want to point out too that the requester at any point can also submit a new FOIA request and reinitiate the process. So this isn't a one and done opportunity, but there's also the opportunity to provide either by agreement or by the board saying that you need more time, an extension in order to make a decision on this pending FOIA request, potentially to the next board meeting. But that would be, my preference would be that the parties agree to that, just so we don't have any legal question on our timelines to respond.
And what if a mutually agreed upon extension was achieved? What would that look like? Would that be a document signed by both parties or?
No, it can just be stated on the record here today if that's the direction you want to proceed.
Commissioner Helserman.
Quick question, okay. Apparently, the person requesting the information has no, you're not a guardian?
Her father's right there.
Okay. Okay, so, but you are the one that's making it, not the father. Would the person, is there somebody that would have standing to get this information? If this went to the prosecutor or came to you, you get requests, you get reports that people are abusing their children or whatever, and you have certain responsibilities to take care of that. We have somebody coming with accusation. So the question is, what do you need to act? So apparently, the people that she's gone to need some sort of proof that an action is taken. Because if she goes to social services and makes a complaint, apparently, if I understand it correctly, nothing has happened.
For 2 years.
Nothing, it has not gone beyond the complaint thing. So, so I don't know, but again, back to we're looking for a phone, did a certain phone number contact another phone number? That's the, if I understand it correctly, that is the information that's being requested. Okay, so let's say I had a friend in jail, and I wanted to know if he had called another friend, because that's basically with the same sort of thing. Would I have standing to get that information?
No.
So, because basically you're denying the FOIA request because there's no standing that she has to, but the prosecutor, if there's a criminal case, would have standing to get this information. Somebody has standing to get this information, but she doesn't have standing because the prosecutor wouldn't need a FOIA request. They just
Court order or ask us.
there's a court order
part
to
of an
give out the
investigation.
information. So if she would go to court and say, I need this information, and the court was thought it was necessary, an order from a court, you would honor.
Yes.
So, and lacking that, a legal, because she doesn't have legal standing, you know, to even ask the question. Is that,
I don't want to speak on behalf of the undersheriff or nor our legal counsel, but my understanding is that we as a board would be in fact permitted to grant the request. We hold that authority and we could grant that request. It would be out of the norm. It would be circumventing our typical processes. But then again, we do have to evaluate what's best for, in this case, these particular members of the community. We're not required to though. We're not mandated to because these records do not fall under the FOIA requirements. And again, some of this comes from my understanding in my conversation with prosecutor Carolyn Henry. But I want to try and
so we could allow a report, because you can't make up a report, right? You have to take a record that's actually there and you would have to redact whatever information was on this piece of paper that wasn't relevant. If, you know, that's because you with a FOIA request, you can't make up a report. You can't say.
We provide whatever we have.
So
available.
whatever piece of paper this is on,
The record is. what
you
the
would
record
have to
is.
reproduce and redact everything else except that. That's how that would work.
so I raised this question.
Go ahead.
I raised this question. What would the proper steps look like for achieving what I believe we mutually all want to achieve this evening?
The normal and proper step would be for the sheriff's office to receive either a court order or a request for assistance in a criminal investigation. And that would come from either CPS, law enforcement, another prosecutor's office. That request would have to be formalized and come to us in that fashion, not a FOIA.
Yes, and I take it that our prosecutor's office as well could provide that if they deemed.
We would assist them if they requested, yeah, for sure.
Commissioner Drake.
4 people, Undersheriff, Ms. Fletcher, Dad, and our attorney. Who knows what kind of case in Oakland County may or may not have the no contact order? Do we know if it's civil or criminal? Do we know any of the attorneys' names to help us out?
Civil, I believe,
Why would you say that?
because it's a family matter.
Family matter, civil. Okay. Go ahead.
My attorney actually requested this through Oakland County and they are denying her.
Sir,
Understood.
I want to make sure that this also gets on the record as well. So if you don't mind stepping forward. You could
with one bound.
And you could just speak into that mic, but did you have any other questions for the father?
No. For our attorney, Matt, just what would the damage be to the inmate who's sitting in Livingston County Jail and a phone number was given to this lady of a call made and a phone number was given to the recipient of the call and just phone numbers and maybe a date or time? What damage does the guy sitting in jail have?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we would face any sort of liability for a disclosure of that information. As I said earlier, it's really the content of the call that's at a different level for privacy and potential exposure.
That's what I'm thinking also. Perhaps if we were to sustain a FOIA request that was limited just to the date, time, two phone numbers at either end of some kind of time, 2 minutes worth, and leave it at that, that might help somebody like Dad to go back to Oakland County to get the content reviewed. Because then they'd have a specific phone numbers, specific time, specific date. And since it's civil, our prosecutor might have a difficult time and the sheriff would have a difficult time saying a crime occurred in the jail during this phone call. Because if that was the case, it could be a lot easier. But if civil, it's back to an attorney, but that attorney needs a little bit of statistical evidence as opposed to content.
Commissioner Nakagiri?
Yeah, a question for anybody who's listening. So we're talking about, Commissioner Drick just mentioned, this phone number called this phone number, but is that sufficient? So the jail phone number called,
Ms. Nevins.
Mr. Nevin, Rachel, but that doesn't mean that that the child talked to the inmate.
Right.
I understand, but that would be for the civil attorney, and what we're now hearing could be a civil case, could ask for the subpoena back to, or the court order back to the jail saying, please assist, give us more information.
Yes, we already went through that process and that process was denied. I gave specific days. That was denied again. So Oakland County is doing nothing but sweeping this under the rug.
So you're in front of a judge there?
Yes, we were in front of the judge with it.
Okay. Thank
And my attorney had me pull the CPS files on my daughter. I pulled them. There were over 200 pages of CPS files on my daughter and some involving her 8-year-old sister. And the things in these files that these girls said is very gross, containing that the officers and the detectives said that there is no preponderance evidence. And these girls have spoken out, and they have been proven right every time they've spoke out, except when they don't want it to be. They said Tony was at the house. I call, I say Tony's at the house. They pay a visit. The grandma's there watching, says Tony's not there. The grandma goes to get her wallet to show him her ID, and both of those girls went up and said Tony's in the backyard. Tony was in the backyard. Everyone has lied. Anytime they go there in these reports, they will get mad and yell at the officers, so they don't even come in the house and look. They're denying them access to the house when they're trying to look for someone. What is that a sign of? I mean, this, like I said, there's over 200 pages, not from this mouth, from people around their neighborhood that I know nothing about, from teachers I know nothing of, from the daughter I know nothing about. And they keep bringing it back saying I'm a jealous boyfriend. And in the reports, that's what it says almost at the end of every report, that I'm making this up because I'm a jealous boyfriend, even if I didn't make that call.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
To clarify, you're the father.
I'm the father.
And you're the aunt?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I have a suggestion. Okay, so, this phone number that was called, can you go to the phone company
Say, whose is it?
and ask them?
But we're not at the ownership of either end of the phones.
But we know there's been phone calls. We know that she's talked to him, because she even said in court.
Okay, but you're looking for evidence.
I just want
Yeah,
to
I
know if.
But so, okay,
she was on
Commissioner,
the-
hold on.
wouldn't your phone company have a record of the calls, the incoming calls?
Yeah, but the calls don't matter. It's who's on the phone that matters.
It's making
Right,
contact
but-
with the daughter, with the niece.
So they can call
Yeah.
any number they
Right,
want.
but
It's
they're
all-
only asking for phone,
No.
they're not asking, if
No,
it came
it's-
from the jail. Okay, so if a phone call from the jail went to the house, well, how many inmates are there at the jail?
They want to confirm that there was contact made with the child.
Yeah, it can call the house all day, as long as the daughter didn't call.
Yes.
So we. have
No, I
proof
understand that, but then I don't understand what the value is of knowing if the phone call was made at a certain time, because that doesn't, there's no direct connection to the daughter. Even if that phone, even 20 phone calls are made on the day.
Yes, that's
There's
why
no
we have to
proof.
hear the call,
So
or somebody has to.
I don't know if social services doesn't believe you, I don't know who, because you gotta get somebody to believe what you're saying.
Well, I'm gonna bring this back to what our responsibility is, and it's to either deny or accept the FOIA appeal. Commissioner Drake, with this being a civil case, could there still be a process moving forward? I believe this was addressed, but I didn't hear the answer. With our sheriff's department working in collaboration with the prosecutor's office to get that record to determine whether or not contact was made with the child.
If our prosecutor placed a phone call to Under Sheriff Pless, there would be cooperation, in my opinion, even if it was a Nevada case.
So I'm gonna raise this proposal, and I certainly welcome feedback, but I would propose that we request, the board here request an extension. We would request that you grant us this extension. My proposal would be, today is June 22nd. Should a extension be agreed upon, we would revisit this July 13th. And my request is if we could work collaboratively with the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's department, and Mrs. Fletcher and Sir, to perhaps focus and zero in on the exact, exactly what's needed to help basically protect this child if the assertions are correct and accurate. I guess first I'll open up to the commissioners. Is there an objection to that?
Support. So support your motion to.
Well, it's
postpone?
not a motion,
Okay.
but I will formalize it as necessary, but I wanted to take a consensus and see if there is
I'm good with that.
any objection to that.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for it, but personally, I'm ready to allow us to give this information out. Unless I don't see any harm in doing it, I think there's very little that will come of it. I don't think it will be very much value, but I don't think there's harm in doing it, so I'm ready to acknowledge the appeal and allow it.
Commissioner Nakagiri?
Yeah, I'd like to have Mr. Nordford opine on the unintended consequences if we go ahead and do this. What could happen in the future? I mean, I'm leaning towards, moving forward on the extension and stuff, but I do want a better understanding for the legal ins and outs of what, of setting this precedent. So.
Yes. So, Mr. Norfer, I'm happy to repeat what I proposed unless you have it on hand, and feel free to weigh in on Commissioner Nakagiri's request.
I have no issue, Chair, with the extension as you've proposed it to the requester. I'm waiting to hear if the requester agrees to that. And as far as Commissioner Nakagiri's question, we don't look at these on a case-by-case basis. You don't have to make the same decision today that you may make tomorrow. That said, the sheriff's office has a good policy reason, based on the legal area of the law here, to not produce these records under FOIA in this circumstance. So that would really be my only comment on that. If you are going to change, and it doesn't sound like you're going to rule on the FOIA, there are redactions and review that will need to occur if we're going to look at recordings. And so just saying yes to releasing it all doesn't mean it gets released tomorrow. We would still have to go through that process. There may be a fee calculation. We'll have to work through it. I think that the chair's proposal, at least in my mind, is a step in the right direction. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said earlier, which is any civil or criminal subpoena will get this information from a court of jurisdiction.
Thank you, Mr. Norford. Do you have any follow-up questions for Mr. Norford?
No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Drake, any objections, comments?
Yeah, did you understand that he just gave an opinion that if you got a civil subpoena?
It was already done.
Okay, you tried. Thanks.
I have a question. Is there not any way for not us to look at it. I don't care if we see the records. Is there any way for a legal like you just to review, get the girl's voice and computer review it and see if that girl's voice was on these records? And that doesn't violate anybody's. It's just a computer going through, seeing if there's a voice recognition.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would align with the avenue I proposed. Is that correct? If a subpoena was secured and.
If a subpoena is secured, I mean, obviously, and for obvious reasons, we don't just look at jail records. I hate to use these words, but as a fishing expedition, right? We would like to have some direction, and that direction should be a subpoena from a court. That's the way we'd like to see it come in. Again, to protect our office, that's the way that business is done, you know, quite honestly, and it protects all parties involved. I'm not sure why their subpoena was rejected at the Oakland County courts, or why they weren't not able to obtain one, and why, you know, she stated earlier that she couldn't file a complaint with Child Protective Services in relation to the things that she stated. I don't really think that they have a choice of receiving that, no different than if someone walked in our lobby, you filed a report, we're taking your report. So I would, again, not an attorney, I don't give legal advice, but we need the subpoena. That would be the best case scenario, especially in a civil case. And for obvious reasons too, we largely deal with criminal and try and stay out of civil whenever we can. So.
Under Sheriff Plus here is indicating that could be accomplished. What you're ultimately seeking could be accomplished. So I'm going to formalize my proposal and say that we request an extension to July 13th, and we will revisit this if you feel that we are not taking steps in the right direction to accomplish what you have requested of us to basically protect this child. With that being said, do you accept our request for extension? Do you acknowledge that you wish to extend as well the
Yes.
appeal process?
My other question is, when you do pull these records, do you get to see Oakland counties too, or no, just Livingston counties?
I'm not personally.
If someone does it, if
Like jail phone records?
Yeah.
That'd be just specific to our facility.
just to Livingston County. Okay.
Mr. Norford, has what's been stated for the record this evening been sufficient for our process?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Nakagiri?
I just want to chime in with a comment that, we commissioners don't know the full story, don't know all the testimony that was provided, don't know all the complaints provided, and don't know why the reason that, this gentleman was denied. And I feel, I'm sympathetic to the situation, but I'm also cautious in that we don't know all the facts. We only know very little of the facts, and that concerns me. I just wanted to state that, so.
Thank you.
I just say 3 weeks in the life of an abused child is a long time.
It is.
That's all I'd say. Phil.
I would request, if there is a inclination that progress is not being made in the right direction, I would request that you reach out to myself personally as chairman of the board, and I'm happy to facilitate where I can. I have the utmost respect and confidence in our sheriff's department. In fact, I anticipate that they are looking at this strictly as a policy, and that's why we have these hearings and these appeal processes, because they have a policy that they're required to align with, and that's why we are charged with this responsibility. So if you believe you're not making the steps forward for whatever circumstances there might be, please reach out to me as soon as you feel necessary. Under Sheriff Plus, I'm confident that you have a good understanding of the circumstances and a desired direction forward to resolve this. And I want to extend my utmost appreciation to our prosecutor's office. I anticipate you were only thinking you'd be here for a few minutes this evening. But as you can see, your presence is invaluable, and so we are greatly appreciative. Again, if any party has any issues, please contact me directly. Right now, we'll plan on revisiting this July 13th again, but if necessary, we can expedite the process and go from there. So, does everyone have a clear understanding of next steps forward? Mrs. Fletcher, it looks like you may have a question.
I really don't know. My brain's just going crazy.
So I would encourage you to reach out to our prosecutor's office, who we do have a couple assistant prosecutors here this evening. So you maybe could make exchange your contact information with them or receive their contact information so that you can place your request for very specifically what you're looking for, dates, times, phone numbers, very, very as specific as you can. They will proceed if in adherence with their process. They will proceed in the direction that they think is most appropriate, which may align with reaching out then for a court order, which then would proceed to the sheriff's office where they can do the investigation. Ultimately, if everything is aligned and accurate to what's been presented, they would be able to find the evidence that you're seeking and bring it forward to bring justice as necessary.
Okay, I do have a question. We do know that she had a video chat with him, but she was in Oakland County because she told us the day, what was it, Christmas Day or Easter?
Christmas and Halloween.
Christmas and Halloween. She said she got to see him, but at that time they switched him from Livingston back to Oakland. Would it be wise of me to go try to do a FOIA at Oakland County?
It's an attorney.
Under Sheriff Plus, it looks like. I'm not sure. You might get the
I don't
same
think it's
answer.
appropriate for me to get
Okay,
legal
that's fine.
advice as a law
That's
enforcement
fine.
officer, sir.
That's fine. Mr. Norford, I'll raise the inquiry to you. Should a FOIA request be submitted for that video call in Oakland County?
It may be. It's very likely it'll be the same response that we had here due to the privacy concerns that we're trying to protect in the sheriff's office policy. But I'm not familiar with Oakland County's policies. The same avenues we're discussing here in Livingston through the prosecutor's office, those are probably better opportunities to get that information in Oakland County.
And I'm going to inquire with our assistant prosecutors if based upon what Mrs. Fletcher has presented with the presumption that a video call did take place in Oakland County, is that something you're able to request from your office?
Typically, we do not have access to jail records from other counties. We would have to reach out to their individual sheriff's office.
And is that something that you would actually be able to do if you felt necessary?
I think it would depend on the situation.
Circumstances.
The factors, potentially.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So do we all have a clear understanding of the next steps forward? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to conclude this appeal at this time. Again, please, anyone, please reach out to me directly if there's any questions or concerns that transpire as we go forward. So I want to thank everybody again for your time this evening. The board certainly recognizes and appreciates it. So thank you.
Thank you for your time too, guys.
We need to second the motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
legal counsel raised his hand.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Norford? Yes.
Sure, my only other suggestion was to include letting you know if the information is received so that we could find out if the FOIA appeal is necessary on the 13th, the continuation. So good news
yeah.
or bad news?
Yes, thank you. So would that fall under Sheriff Plus's responsibility or?
No, that would be the requester. So
The requester. Okay.
Yep. If she wouldn't mind reaching out and letting us know either way, whether or not we need to keep this on the schedule for the 13th, that would be much appreciated.
So Mrs. Fletcher, that will be your responsibility to reach out to myself and Would it be our county administrator, county clerk, or is it just myself?
We're gonna have it on there because we've agreed to that date. So if it just came to you, Chair, and you could let myself and Nathan know, that would be sufficient.
Thank you. This is,
Meaning if it does, and we don't have it?
so come within the next couple weeks, you believe you have the information that you were seeking,
Oh, okay.
and you believe that things are headed in the right direction, then if you could reach out to me and let me know that, so we can no longer have the extension of the FOIA appeal, the conclusion, yes, so we can cancel the continuation of the FOIA appeal. And if you have any questions, of course, please feel free to contact me. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Norford. Is there anything else that you wish to chime in on or share?
No, Chair, I believe you've resolved this matter for this evening.
Thank you.
Does the clerk have enough information here?
The minutes will reflect that both the appellant and the board agreed to an extension of the FOIA appeal until July 13th, 2026.
Yes, that's my interpretation of what transpired.
There was no motion or anything. It was an agreed extension of the FOIA appeal.
I think that's an accurate reflection of what transpired. Mr. Norford, do you believe there should be anything else reflected in them?
That is sufficient.
Thank you. We've concluded the FOIA appeal this evening. Thank you, everyone. I have to note that following the reports, I open up the reports to the Board of Commissioners. So we're just gonna address that right now. I actually do have a brief report. Recently, our Livingston County Chief Judge made an update to the docket assignments within the Livingston County Courts. And I want to commend Chief Judge McGivney for his new docket. Within this new docket assignment, cases involving minors will no longer go to Judge Susan Longsworth. And I think this is a monumentally positive step in the right direction from what, in my opinion, were severe injustices that have transpired within her courtroom. Are there any other board reports this evening?
Save mine for commissioner comments.
Okay.
Just like to give a report, Fowlerville's usually has fireworks on the 4th. But because of complications I won't go into, they will be having them on the 5th, Sunday night, the 5th. The fireworks in Fowlerville, parade and fireworks in Fowlerville. So you're all welcome to come.
Thank you.
Good occasion.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yeah, I just wanted to share the results of a little bit of research that I did recently regarding property taxes. There was a bill that has passed the House, the State House, that would, if you sell if a person sells their house now, then and their sales price is higher than the what their assessed value is, the new value becomes whatever the sales price is. So it gets bumped up, it could get bumped up 20, 30, 40%. The bill would, if it passes the Senate and gets signed into law by the governor, would actually cap that. So let's say you sold your house for 30% more, the new buyer, 30% more than you're being assessed market value. The buyer would have to pay higher taxes than you had to pay, but the bill would cap it at the rate of inflation, or I think 5%. It's just like that'd be like a Headley amendment thing, and I think that I just want to make you aware. Equalization did a little analysis for me, if that were to happen, in Livingston County, I estimate from the data that was shared with me that the overall revenue impact for us is about $400,000 a year. And
A loss.
that we would lose out on, the revenue. In my mind, it's questionable that it'll pass the Senate, but anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, so.
Thank you. Any other board reports this evening? On to the resolutions. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to accept the 2025 Livingston County financial audit?
So moved Eaton.
Support.
Any discussion? Commissioner Nakagiri.
I went back to my emails unless I missed it. Do we get a written summary? I mean, that was like just a PowerPoint summary. Do we?
It's not due for 8 more days. You'll get more information already, but the firm's still going to change.
Okay. That's all my questions, so.
So I just had a question. Have we other years gotten audits with no findings? Okay, so, okay. Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Is there a motion to adopt resolution approving appointments to the Parks Open Space Advisory Committee?
Moves Helserman.
Second, Sample.
Moved by Commissioner Hausman, seconded by Commissioner Sample. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is approved. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving an appointment to the Livingston County Community Mental Health Authority Board?
So move Helserman.
Is there a second?
Second, Sample.
Moved by Commissioner Helserman, seconded by Commissioner Sample. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving appointments to the Livingston County Aeronautical Facilities Board?
So move Sample.
Is there a second? Moved by Commissioner Sample, supported by Commissioner Helserman. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the pay grade and the creation of a 911 project manager position?
So move Helserman.
Support, Thomas.
Moved by Commissioner Helserman and supported by Commissioner Domas. Any discussion?
I'd just like to compliment our director on her very fine job.
I'll support that.
Any additional comments or questions? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample,
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri,
Yes.
Commissioner Dreck,
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani,
Yes.
and Commissioners Panovich and Gross are absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the 2026 state grant agreement, grant administrator, county representative, and surveyor contracts for the Remon and state plane coordinate determination of the public land survey corners in Livingston County?
So moved Eaton. Good job on that one, bro.
Second, Sample.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Sample. Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreck.
Yes.
Commissioners Panovich and Gross are absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Did I vote? Did you?
Yes.
We voted for you.
Winded from that one, huh?
The motion is approved. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to accept the grant from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to support community health needs assessment planning?
So moved Eaton.
Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Domas. Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreck.
Yes.
Commissioners Panovich and Gross are absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to concur with the Livingston County Aeronautical Facilities Board and consent to assignment of the ground lease agreement with Construction Helicopters LLC to Hell Group LLC for airport property located at 3979 Bowen Road and to the sublease of the property to Construction Helicopters LLC?
So moved, Deaton.
Support, Helserman.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Helserman. Any discussion? Commissioner Nakagiri.
I just want to, in the committee meeting that we talked about this, we are able to raise the rates by the rate of inflation. There was discussion on which inflation statistic we're going to use. I want to have my colleagues consider this. The airport, as shown on the audit, is losing money. They're not charging enough to break even, and they are an enterprise fund. They are obligated to charge enough. So in my mind, it means that they need to, our airport folks need to relook at their rate structure and have their fees commensurate with their expenses. And if we are constrained to say, well, okay, we're going to sign this contract and we can go up 3% a year, I don't know that we're ever going to catch up. We're not going to close the gap, in my opinion. I would also share with my colleagues that, the enterprise fund, the Airport Enterprise Fund is, just like many other places, other departments in the county have unfunded pension liability. And theirs is on the larger side in terms of the percentage. And so how do we close that gap? If we are constrained to only raise the rates by 3%, I think we are not charging enough. The enterprise fund is supposed to not be a burden on taxpayers, and I'm concluding that it is got some trouble.
Director Johnson, do you wish to address the matter that's been raised?
Now that I'm unmuted, the 3% is what is in our standard lease agreement. I'm not sure where the commissioner is getting the information that we are losing money on an annual basis. I don't think that is what the numbers project in 2025. That is probably correct because we took $500,000 out of our retained earnings to put towards the SRE building.
Mr. Johnson, the numbers I'm cited was from the auditors. Every year for the last 5 years, we are slightly unfavorable. I mean, it's not hugely unfavorable, but the data that they presented showed that our revenues aren't covering our expenses. And, additionally, I could produce data that shows that there's unfunded pension liabilities that, how are we going to close that gap? The funding, the revenue to close that gap comes from, charging fees at the airport. And if we're constrained to only go up by the rate of inflation, I don't see us closing the gap.
Well, the issue is going to be if we need to treat all of our tenants who are equally. If one tenant has a different rate in there, they would have a case for economic discrimination with the FAA. And that is something we've agreed that we will not do when we've accepted grant money from the FAA.
How do you propose we close the gap?
I guess I'd like to see some data that there is a gap other than something from this audit report that I haven't seen. Because we have been not in great numbers, but revenues have exceeded expenses for the last several years.
Um, I guess I'm trusting the auditor's numbers, and I think we ought to be able to trust the auditor's numbers. We can, let's say we vote to approve this contract, and we confirm that the auditors are correct and we're losing money, and therefore we have to raise the fee structure. Can we do that? How do we do that?
I think that's an excellent question. And, you know, as you requested 6-ish months ago, we do have a committee of the Aeronautical Facilities Board looking at our land lease rates. We haven't come to any conclusions at this point in time, but we are looking at that. And then we need to find a way within the rules stipulated by the FAA that we can implement a change.
All right, I'm comfortable, passing these resolutions with the agreement that as we set our budget for next year, that we get an answer on this question. Otherwise, it's, enterprise funds shouldn't be running at a deficit. And I know, Mr. Johnson, you don't necessarily agree with my conclusion. You don't agree with the conclusion of the auditors, but I think in the budget process, I'd urge my colleagues to, and Mr. Johnson, to come up with a plan that is going to address these shortfalls. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nakagiri. Perhaps Administrator Byrd, you could work with our CFO and Mr. Johnson and see if we can draw a conclusion from the numbers, and thank you. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. There a motion to adopt the resolution to concur with, is a motion to adopt the resolution to concur with the Livingston County Aeronautical Facilities Board to enter into a lease agreement with Southeast Metro Properties LLC for the old airport terminal building and adjacent property.
So move Sample.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Sample, supported by Commissioner Domas. We do have a amendment proposed by our legal counsel that has been placed before us this evening. Is there a motion to amend the resolution to adopt the language pertaining to the therefore be it resolved in the language placed before us this evening?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Domas, seconded by Commissioner Sample. Madam Clerk, do you have the language?
I do. I have the paper provided here.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments pertaining to the language presented this evening?
So what is this is added? So is it the 3%? That's what's.
This language here in bold
Yeah.
would replace the current, therefore be it resolved within the resolution.
Okay.
It would be a substitution.
May
Commissioner Drake.
The original lease document, I noted, said CPI for Detroit, Ann Arbor. I called Mark and I said, we've got a policy that we want to use the CPI that includes Livingston County. And I got him to the Department of Labor website. And then when we talked again, he said, yes, he wants the one that includes Livingston County, and he doesn't want to do the Ann Arbor. And his thought was that Ann Arbor had somehow been deleted, so it was only the 5 counties of Livingston, Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, St. Clair, Lapeer, and Livingston. That was in our strategic plan too, to try to keep that as how we're gonna use CPI. And so that's why the original lease had Ann Arbor in it, and now you don't see the word Ann Arbor anywhere in the bold paragraph that we have here. And Mark's telling me that the consumer price index that he's going to use will have the Livingston County mix with the other counties. It won't be a state, it won't be a nationwide, it won't be Midwest, it won't be anything except actual Michigan counties that we're a part of. Isn't that right, Mark?
That is correct.
Right. Did your hopeful phone call to the attorneys result in any fruit that would give us future direction on how to get out of the predicament we're in? Essentially, the predicament is there's 10 or 12 leases out there. They all have to have the same rate of 3% lesser or CPI, because there's some that have been out there for years and years. And the grant from the feds said, you can't vary that or else that's economic discrimination. So I posed to Mark, and perhaps he talked with Attorney Perrone, who's very well steeped in the airport ins and outs, as to whether there was some way we could start getting out of this difficulty, because this lease we're approving tonight is the lesser of CPI or 3%. So for the next 30 possible years, it may only be 3%. We'll never see a rise. So was there any hope, light at the end of the tunnel, Mark?
Well, the short answer from Tim Perrone was we need to treat everybody the same. Part B is to get together with MDOT and the FAA to figure out a way that we could do a rate change moving forward. And that's the right people weren't in their office today, so I don't have any answers on that, but we will look at that going forward.
So there's an effort on your part to see if there's a procedure to change.
Correct.
Get out from under this 3% lesser deal.
So is there a way that we can write future contracts so they all come due at the same time, so that we can change them all at the same time?
Sounds like Director Johnson's
Is that what
working
you're?
with MDOT on that and the FAA.
And when they all start at different times and for long time periods, it's probably hard to get them to end, but I will put that in my thinking cap as well, as a method to do that.
Any other questions or comments?
So this is a bit of relief, because we're not having to deal with big prices in Ann Arbor, but it's not a terrific answer to the 3% or less.
Commissioner Nakagiri?
Yeah, actually, Commissioner Drick's comments jogged my memory. We have had this conversation before. Thank you for jogging my memory. And it's unfortunate that we don't have a solution. I mean, we're signing up to go 20-year lease, so I'm envisioning we'll be stuck with this for 20 years. And that's disappointing.
And
Just are all our contracts 20-year contracts? Because they all have to be the same, right?
No, they don't have to be the same in length. Or yes, Director Johnson?
For new construction, our standard is they get a 20-year term with 2 5-year extensions at the option of the tenant. If it's been a sale or is a renewal at the end of term, we typically just go to a straight 20-year lease agreement.
And it does not, I think, and Commissioner Hausman was also asking, does it have to be 20 years? And it sounds like, no, it's been the standard practice.
It's been the standard practice, but oftentimes there's a financing component on the part of the tenant, and the lender is looking for a term for a reasonable payback for them.
Yes, yes. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
The amendment is approved. Any additional discussion on what is now the amended resolution? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Motion is approved. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to approve the letter of agreement with the union representing Sheriff Field Services officers, animal control officers, and detectives?
We'll move the resolution, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Domas, seconded by Commissioner Sample. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Resolution is adopted. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing a conversion of 2 part-time central records specialists to 1 full-time central records specialist?
So move Sample.
Support Deaton.
Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreck.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioners Panovich and Gross are absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing agreement with Risk and Regulatory Consultant as an independent actuarial consultant for pension debt forensics and strategic oversight?
So move Helserman. Support Nakagiri.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreck.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioners Panovich and Gross are absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the claims dated June 22nd, 2026, and the payables dated May 26th through June 7th, 2026?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Support Deaton.
Moved by Commissioner Domas, supported by Commissioner Deaton. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we have a second call of the public. If anyone wishes to address the board, just please state your name and municipality and provide a card. You'll have 2 minutes.
I had one card, Steve Williams, but I don't see him in the,
I did see,
Madam Clerk, he left at 7:52 PM.
okay.
And looked like he had his jacket and his sign and his
Okay,
wife.
then I have no cards.
I'm just for formality purposes, Mr. Williams, are you present or in the vicinity?
Well, he packed up with his stuff.
Mr. Williams, if you wish to address the board, now is the time at the call of the public. Seeing that Mr. Williams is not present and did not respond, it's our understanding that Mr. Williams has left or does not wish to address the board at this time. Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to participate in the call of the public at this time?
I did not see anybody, Commissioner.
Thank you. At this time, seeing that no one wishes to address the board during the second call of the public, and if I'm incorrect, please correct me now. Here's no one wishes to address the board at the second call of the public. This time, the second call of the public is closed. Commissioner comments. Are there any commissioners that wish to comment? Commissioner Deaton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Try to make it quick. I got 3 actions here. Annually, the American Legion sponsors Boys State, and the American Legion Auxiliary supports Girls State, which just ended at Michigan State University. And I attended today. down at Hillsdale College. And this is a civics and leadership program for juniors in high school throughout the state of Michigan. And it's a very important program where they learn our Constitution and they learn how to work in government. They get put into two fictitious parties, the federal and nationalists. They get assigned to cities. And as I was here, Livingston County has been very well represented this year. And the boys are texting me what positions they've been winning. We have one from Heartland who just became mayor, as their elections are going on tonight. And I'm hoping that we've got two that are running for governor, and I'll report on that later. So it's an amazing program. It's been going on since 1933. And there's amazing scholarships for our juniors throughout the state that they can apply for. Moving on, I wanted to give a big kudos out to the city of Brighton as part of their American 250. We were involved on Thursday from the Brighton American Legion. They awarded a veteran from each branch of the service just for their service to the country. And then they had contracted the band Sponge from the 1990s to play afterwards. So it was a packed mill pond. And then the final thing, I participated in the Legacy Run with the American Legion, and this is the program where the American Legion writers get together and they write across the state to different posts, raising money for the Wounded and Returning Warrior program. And this is American Legion program when 100% of the donations go to veterans and their families in our communities here in Michigan. I was pretty proud of the money that was raised until this young group of citizens came in from Livingston County and just kind of smoked us. We did about over 35,000, but it comes nowhere near what they did in the 290,000. So, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to say there's some good things going on in the state, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you for bringing that forward. Any other comments? Commissioner Nakagiri?
Yeah, I wanted to share this with the public. I ran across an interesting statistic. Scott Jennings, a commentator on CNN, reported these statistics last week. 25 years ago, so that would have been, earlier this century, 90% of Republicans were proud or extremely proud to be American. 90%. 87% of Democrats felt the same way. That's, within the margin of error, I'd say they're the same. However, 25 years later, Republicans, 92% are proud to be Americans, just 36% of Democrats. So you can see how much the Democrat Party has changed, and it's not an exaggeration to say that the left hates America. Thank you.
Commissioner Drick?
Thank you. As Commissioner Fiani reported earlier, there was an order by the court on June 9, reassigning cases, shuffling cases between judges. And it said at the beginning that it applied only to new cases filed after June 22. So June 9 was the order, in effect, June 22. I was on the phone with Mr. Williams, and I asked him to investigate the register of actions for his particular case. And he got down to June 19th on that register of actions. And he tells me, he reports that the Brighton judge transferred his entire wife's case to Judge Geddes. And he no longer has to go to Brighton. I said, better get a copy of the order. The register of actions isn't conclusive, but get a copy of the paperwork that transferred it. So he's always welcome here, but we may hear about different things.
Additional, Commissioner Helserman?
I just want to remind us that this is the 250th year of our country, the starting of our country. Actually, the starting of our country was when the English first came here. And our revolution is different from every other revolution because we only wanted to continue having the liberties that the people in England had. Representation. Because the colonists were being abused. We did not want a new government. In fact, most of the laws from the colonies from England kept going. But the one phrase self-evident. It's self-evident that there's a creator. Basically, the reason why the creator and the gift of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness is a gift to us from the creator is self-evident because there is a beginning. If there is a nothing to something moment, you must have a creator. And if there's a creator, it's very easily to call that creator God because he's the giver of all things. And the question is, when you receive a gift, you have a responsibility to the one who gave it. That was the thought process that started our country, and everybody, whether they were Christians or non-Christians or deist or whatever they were, they all agreed on a creator. Modern thinking has nothing that's self-evident. The formation of fossils is not self-evident. How many of you in your lifetime have seen the formation of a fossil? Okay. How many of you have seen a dog have two cats? The things that evolution says, none of it is self-evident. So just coming back and allowing the thought of self-evidence, self-evident facts, it would go a long ways in changing our country back to what we were originally. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Helserman. Any additional comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Eaton.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton, supported by Commissioner Helserman. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned.
Sir.